The Suns put on a masterclass in playing within the advantages, setting the advantages, maintaining the advantages, exploiting, and even sometimes even exacerbating based off of what the defense was doing, all within the advantages that they were creating between Kevin Durant and Devin Booker touches. And they just had a great process and a great cadence and pace within them playing kind of random based off of the defense that was given whenever Devin Booker and Kevin Durant were given extra attention. Both of those players individually had great games playmaking-wise. KD had 3 assists and 2 turnovers, but he had a ton of secondary assists. And Devin Booker had 10 assists with just 1 turnover. And he had a few other assists that were like secondary, so he didn't get the direct. But they just consistently played well, forcing the defensive dominoes to fall and stay patient within that process as well. And then the rest of the Suns players did a great job of maintaining and playing within it and executing within it as well. So I just want to zoom in on a handful of their reps doing just that from yesterday's game. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, this first one here is going to be a Kevin Durant mid-post touch. So we're going to see Chris flip it over to K. KD gets the catch, and he's patient. And he's turning and facing and he's reading because he knows he's not going to get single coverage with Josh Green on him. So he's just waiting to see where the double team is coming from and what pass he should do to counter it by stretching the defense as they try to flatten out the offensive attack of the Suns. So he's reading it. He sees the doubles coming from the passer, who is Kyrie Irving, that was guarding Chris Paul. So Kevin Durant quickly kicks it back to CP3. And now Chris, who's overqualified for this role, is allowed to play connector and kicking it to the second side. And he's going to hit Devin Booker for a 3 here as Devin Booker lifts up from the corner. But we're going to pause it and rewind it because we talk about setting the advantage. The catch from Kevin Durant and the patience from him sets the advantage. Kicks it over to Chris. Chris is maintaining the advantage. And now they're executing within it, but they're also exacerbating the advantage because the kick to Devin Booker from Chris Paul is already executing within it because it's getting a clean look, a high shot quality. But to exacerbate the advantage, we're seeing Josh Okogie. He could have just cut through, or he could have just spaced to the corner and exchanged with Devin Booker lifting. However, instead of doing that, he sets a pin-in screen. And that's just exacerbating the advantage, making it that dynamic closeout to get back to the second side to Devin Booker, who's shooting. It's just entirely too late because of all of that and the pace and the cadence within the advantage. And the Suns execute there. All right, this next rep here, we're going to see Devin Booker getting an isolation touch in the mid-post. A little bit closer to the elbow, actually. Nonetheless, he gets the catch, and now he's going to go bully ball with Kevin Durant. Gets him on his shoulder, gets a drive, boom, gets a paint touch. So they're going to end up putting 2 to the ball, doubling on the block as Devin Booker gets into the paint. And what do you do to maintain the advantage? The advantage is set. So what do you do now? Devin Booker goes pump fake. He's patient, and he sees Josh Okogie here in the corner. So he's going to skip it over to the corner, and now they've got the defensive dominoes falling as they're playing within the advantage. So Josh Okogie catches. The Mavericks go with the X out here. So we got Josh Green Xing out with Reggie Bullock. So Josh Green runs it off to Josh Okogie, and then we got Reggie Bullock running off Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant does a great job of playing within the advantage to maintain the advantage. And he ends up driving past the closeout, discards to Reggie Bullock. And now what do you do to execute within the advantage? He could always pull up here. That's always a clean shot for him. He hit a handful of these off of the glass in this specific game. However, to exacerbate the advantage, we're seeing off-script play here between Kevin Durant and DeAndre Ayton because as Kevin Durant attacks the closeout, you can see DeAndre Ayton sealing Luka Doncic, opening up this gap. And Dwight Powell has the whole responsibility for Kevin Durant as the rim protector. He's putting pressure on the rim after blowing by Reggie Bullock. So Kevin Durant, reading the defense in real time, his processing speed is on point. Hits DeAndre Ayton with a cagey, timely bounce pass. And DeAndre Ayton on the seal is able to get an easy basket, an easy dunk early in the game, just based off of the Suns' processing speed and the cadence at which they're playing within the advantage after they get the defensive dominoes falling. And now we're going to see here them getting into some more of their veer action that I mentioned they started using with more frequency against the Charlotte Hornets in Kevin Durant's first game. So we see the angle screen here from DeAndre Ayton allowing for Chris to get to the outer third of the floor. And then we're going to see staggers from the middle third of the floor from Kevin Durant and then from DeAndre Ayton on the veer screen for Devin Booker. That's not there. They do a good job defending it. So Chris kicks it over to Kevin Durant. Another mid-post touch. You know they're going to put 2 to the ball with Kevin Durant having to catch in any of his favorable spots on the floor. So they're patient. Durant gets off of it quick. And now they got the defensive dominoes falling again, as Chris is able to, again, play connector and playing as the first player within the advantage. They kick it. Devin Booker drives the closeout, forces extra attention at the nail. They were putting extra heavy help on the nail whenever there was a middle drive or potential middle drive from Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, as we see here from Bullock. And now that forces a closeout on a Chris Paul as Devin Booker gets off of it quick. Chris is able to attack the closeout, get a paint touch, and he's able to get a floater up here. This next rep here is going to be with the Suns being in small ball here. So Kevin Durant is at the 5. These are the first reps that the Suns were having with this lineup with Kevin Durant at the 5 since he's been with the Suns. So we see a screen, they get a switch, and then eventually the Mavericks are going to send a double towards him for Justin Holiday, but we want to pay attention to Cameron Payne here to exacerbate what's to come. You see him spacing. Just respacing around what's to come to exacerbate the closeouts and just make the closeouts that much more long and more dynamic than they would if he just stood stationary where he was initially when he passed it to Durant. So he respaces after the pass. They get 2 to the ball, and now Cameron Payne is able to play connector as he waits, does a great job faking a shot, setting up like he's going to load up to pull this to keep Kyrie Irving at base so he can't cut off this passing lane. He has to play honest. And then Payne, cagey as ever, kicks it over to Damian Lee, and Damian Lee is able to do what he does and knocking down wide open 3-point attempts with the celebration. All right, and then this is where things got fun, because after Devin Booker got it rolling, especially in the third quarter, the Mavericks ended up putting 2 to the ball on him, regardless of where he was catching it. So what the Suns countered with was putting Devin Booker in their dribble handoff scenarios via their Zoom or Chicago action, but they strategically located it in the middle third of the floor because A, it's hard to double team a moving target, and B, it's hard to double team anybody from the middle third of the floor because you don't have the help of the baseline or the sidelines as an extra defender. So it's harder to do that in space, especially with a live dribble. So the Suns would continuously put them in that situation. So we're going to see here Cameron Payne kicks it over to Jock Landale and then goes to set the pin down for Devin Booker again in the middle third of the floor, this time going to his left hand. And then they're going to put 2 to the ball here. We got Christian Wood here initially. Devin Booker sees the switch, so he decides to retreat dribble. As he retreat dribbles, he's going to see, as you can see, Tim Hardaway Jr. here, who's on Cameron Payne at the free throw line extended. He's going to step up. And then Devin Booker immediately is waiting for a reaction from the defense. He elects to go left here. And as he goes left here, he sees more heavy nail help here from Reggie Bullock as he's sitting there waiting, kind of zoned up. So they put 2 to the ball, and he gets a paint touch on top of that. So that keeps Justin Holiday at bay, who's the low man right now. He's touching Jock Landale. And who's in the corner? Torrey Craig, who's wide open. However, he's not just wide open, but there's a nice, very smart and astute pinning screen set from Jock Landale here to not just allow for him to get a clean closeout over to Torrey Craig, but putting his body in front of him just to make that closeout a half second longer in time to get to Torrey and give Torrey that extra time to line him up, lace him up, and knock it down. All right, next we're going to see again some more Zoom action and some more Chicago action from the middle third of the floor with Devin Booker. This time they flip it, and they get him going to his right hand. So he gets the down screen and the dribble handoff, and now he's seeing 2 to the ball. But amidst that, he's also, with his processing speed, he's patient and matured within this specific scenario to where he's reading the help defense around the double team as well. So they're doing it with the live dribble so that he can kind of maneuver and navigate and still be able to clean space to make a good pass. He's reading and he sees, just as Luka Doncic was guarding Josh Okogie for the 7 misses that he had specifically when Doncic was guarding him, he's helped off of him to kind of aid in any driving lanes that Devin Booker might see. So this is Okogie in the corner. You can't see him yet, but as Devin Booker makes the pass after threatening Doncic to hold him to make that closeout even harder to get to, he hits Okogie, or I'm sorry, he is Ish Wainwright, excuse me, and Ish is able to knock this down. Wainwright hits it. This is one of the weaknesses that Okogie had in this game, was just that Luka wasn't guarding him, especially when he didn't have the ball, and he wasn't able to knock the shots down. Just trial by error, but Ish Wainwright was able to come in, and he was able to make it happen as an elite time on tackle. And they would go right back to that same action again in this rep. As you see, Devin Booker comes off of the zoom action, the down screen into the dribble handoff. He's patient. He's processing, he's reading, he's looking off Landale to hold Luka Doncic to his responsibility and trying to squeeze the passing lanes on the roller. And as they pinch in on the paint, engages him with his eyes and then hits again. It's Wainwright for this three in the corner. And Luka is just too late to get there to affect the release from Ish Wainwright. And then we get into this next rep here. It's going to be Kevin Durant setting the advantage. So he's going to get a quick isolation. Reggie Bullock does a good job containing the ball, makes him switch directions. As he switches directions, we see again heavy nail help here from Kyrie Irving. That forces KD to get off of it as he gets two to it. And now is what do you do in the late shot clock? Do you trust the process or do you go off script and go with isolation play? No, the Suns are so in rhythm and just in sync with each other. Chris automatically kicks it back to Kevin Durant. Now it's at 6 seconds on the shot clock. KD gets another double from Kyrie at the jab at, and KD does a great job with his timing on the pass, kicking it back to Chris and boomeranging it essentially. And now they got the defensive dominoes falling because Chris is able to play connector again. And he sees on his catch, because Kyrie Irving is leaving him to give attention to Durant, that they have a jab at from the corner, as you see with Luka Doncic. And again, he's helping off of the player that's in the corner, one of the Suns' ancillary players. This time again, it's Ish Wainwright. And Chris smartly and astutely quickly kicks it over to Ish, and Ish is able to knock down his third three-pointer in this one.
Gets the bounce and hung on the rim.
And then on this final rep here, we're going to see, or not the final one, we still got one more after this, but we're going to see Kevin Durant setting the advantage again. They're giving heavy nail help on him and Devin Booker's middle drives. So he threatens the nail on the catch, immediately catching and going, not wasting any time. Gets the defensive domino falling as you see Josh Green peeling off of CP3 to support on the nail. Chris does a good job spacing a little bit more to make that rotation longer. If he was to even rotate, they don't. They leave him wide open, and Chris is knocking down these catch and shoots at 51.8% this season. A shot that he's going to have to continue to knock down at that clip or even higher, especially as the volume goes up. And on this final rep here, we're going to see off of the baseline out of bounds play, them one last time with pace and with the good cadence, setting the advantage, maintaining it, and then exacerbating it, and then executing on it. We're going to see as Chris implores for Ish Wainwright to go set a screen that directly involves Luka Doncic because they want to get two to the ball. He's going to go set the screen, and then he's going to just kind of respace after that. Not necessarily like a slip, he's just respacing. Devin Booker does a good job being patient with the dribble, reading the defense to see exactly how hard the double team's coming, and then he's going to threaten Luka Doncic's positioning in terms of trying to double team and help on him with Tim Hardaway Jr. Devin Booker does a great job just being patient, understanding where Ish is, and just kind of keeping the defense at bay as he sets up to make this rotation as far and as wide as it would have to be. And he does such a great job exacerbating it that there's not even a rotation that's going to come over the Ish on this one. And he's able to knock this down. Just an excellent process from the Suns in this game, with the cadence in which they went about maneuvering within an advantage, and just the consistency within the execution in the advantage, especially late in the game. And that's what really helped them go and win this game, taking the things that the Mavericks were doing in terms of double teams and extra attention to Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, and just consistently executing and maintaining after setting and then executing within an advantage. Just a masterclass from the Suns in this one.